and crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
and territorial about their land.
You're still disagreeing with me, but you haven't made a point why.
Because it doesn't make a difference if the United States are invaded, if that should ever happen. It doesn't make a difference. You would be able to get guns immediately, and if you can't organize the resistance, if it's only one farm against like an army every time, it doesn't make a difference.
I'm not talking. Why do you keep imagining one farm against an army?
Well, then 10 farms.
I'm talking about
I'm talking about the rural country land of America.
The world country land of America
The rural country land.
that will organize itself into one
I'm
big
not saying
army.
it has to be organized.
Well, how would you organize them? How do if
You don't have to be
if you need to
organized.
stand a chance, you need
if everybody's got a gun in their hands, that's about as organized as you have to be.
then you can say, okay, you got guerrilla warfare and all that shit, but you would get the guns either way from Mexico or from Canada. It's not a big
Don't you think
thing.
it would be a little harder to import
Millions of guns once you're invaded by a foreign
No,
country.
because it's to the point where you're being invaded, all the guns are being taken away from you. Do you think it's just going to be leave a farm and just say, oh yeah, keep your weapons for your guerrilla warfare?
You think that an invading army could come and just say to every farmer, okay, surrender your arms?
Or die?
Yeah, these crazy fucks would
Go down shooting.
Yeah, but it wouldn't make a difference. 10 people cannot win a war.
But
They
there's
would
not
go-
10
when you
people
say-
in the heartland.
you
There's
think-
millions and
You
millions of
think
people.
but you think that if there's a family sitting at a farm in Iowa protecting their land, they're going to stand a chance against an invading army?
Do you think, all right, first of all, is
They're
there
like-
going to be a whole army concentrated up on against
But
one
if
farm?
America was invaded, was invaded, do you think it would be ground troops coming to the farm?
I'm not
It would
saying
be a
that
plane
it's
that was
likely.
going over it for
I'm
one
not
second.
saying it's likely that we'd ever be invaded by ground
No,
troops.
no, that's just theory. But if the war to happen, do you think that it would be ground force?
Of course it wouldn't. But if, say, in 50 years, China becomes 10 times as powerful as us,
Yeah.
decides to be imperial and invade the U.S. and take over and make it part of China, they would have to go in there with ground troops to the inner part of the country and try and stabilize and repatriate it.
Why? Why stabilize? Take the resources, get out of here.
We can argue about the likelihood of America being invaded by troops, but I'm saying that we're positioned to be have much better defense, given that all the crazy fucks in the middle of our country are armed with like 15, 20 shotguns that they're just itching to use.
I think the world has reached a point where they know that invading a country and trying to stabilize it, if the population is against it, is hopeless. You can't do it.
So we've been that enlightened in the last 4 years that America has invaded.
Well, I don't say America is that enlightened, but I say that.
Oh, okay.
all
The
other
rest of the
countries
world
are.
is so much more enlightened.
No, but I'm saying that.
The rest of the world.
I'm just taking this, but seriously, when have you ever seen invasion that have actually been kept besides Tibet and some other places where the population has been against it? It won't hold. It never holds.
Well, it would hold less. Come on, you're going to compare Denmark during World War II, the resistance in Denmark, that it would be an equal resistance to the United States, whether or not people are armed already? Come on.
Well,
There was no resistance. After 43, there was a tiny resistance
But that's
that was
one
successful in
example. Look at
protecting
look
Jews,
at Africa.
and not defending the country was occupied for the full 5 years.
Look at Africa. Look at all the small tribes and resistance groups in Africa. Where do you think they get their weapons from? Do you think they had weapons before? They were poor. They didn't have anything.
They bought their weapons from Russia. or
They
China
bought the
or whatever?
weapons. They got the weapons in.
Yeah, over what? The last 20, 30 years. If Denmark was invaded right now by Germany,
And to protect their homeland, they decided to import tons and tons of arms for our citizens. You think that would be just as easy as if everybody would already have one? Once you're already invaded, once war has been brought upon your country,
It's much easier if you already have the weapons. True. But if a country is invaded, you don't stand a chance with a bit of hand grenades and some guns. So it is completely irrelevant. Unless they, of course, hide them in the ground, and then
they could be invaded anyway.
if you were-
could drop a nuke on the country, you could do whatever. But at some stage,
it would come to taming the inner heartland.
the inner heartland, kill them, gas them. You know, why would you?
And how easy will it be to kill or gas somebody who doesn't live with any weapons or defense or guns? Or somebody that keeps 10 on their ranch and uses them regularly?
But what would you use it for? Against the invading troops?